How's everyone doing?
Good.
Yeah. All right, so I know I have a lot of family and friends in the crowd today, but for a lot of you, you're probably seeing me for the first time and hearing my message, so I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. It really means the world to me. First and foremost, I just want to give a huge round of applause to everybody that made this event here today possible. Let's give it up for those guys. When I went vegan 7 years ago, I was lucky enough to find another vegan on the internet, let alone have a veg fest in my backyard, so this is really cool to see. Not only in South Central PA, but all across the state, all across the country, all across the world, the vegan movement has definitely come a long way, which is really cool. So I want to know who I'm talking to today, and this is not meant to single anyone out, but it will change a little bit how I deliver my message. If you are here today and you are not a vegan, raise your hand. All right, wow. Quite a few of you. Well, the fact that you're here at an event like this means that you have an open mind, which is really going to come in handy for the next 20 minutes as I describe to you why I believe the vegan lifestyle is not only a catalyst for a happier and a healthier life, but also a potential doorway to world peace. See, I believe that veganism can be used as a tool in good and bad ways. And my intention with this lifestyle is to help people on an individual level so we can add to the global consciousness of this world to make this planet a more peaceful and kind place. But I didn't always deliver my message like this. I used to be one of those angry, annoying, preachy vegans. How many of you guys know somebody like that? Only a few. Wow, that's great. Well, why is that? Why is a lifestyle that is so seemingly about love and compassion delivered in such an angry and aggressive way? Well, they say being vegan's like being in a horror film and knowing there's a killer on the loose and trying to tell everyone, but nobody is listening. So vegans have this emotional response when you learn about how animals are being treated, when you learn about the destruction of the earth, when you learn about the lies that we've been told about our health, what's necessary and normal for our bodies. The first thing you want to do is tell everyone you know. And when people don't want to listen, it can be very frustrating. So vegans are having this emotional response. It's like the joke goes, how do you know when someone is a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you. Yes, we will, because we want this all to end. And so I was that vegan. I was that guy. And I still am inside when I see videos of slaughterhouses or undercover investigations like the one at Fairlife Farms, which was supposed to be one of the most humane dairy farms in the United States. I have that anger, and I have that resentment. But over the years, I've learned that I cannot deliver my message from a place of anger because people will not listen. And so my vegan journey starts 7 years ago. I was 20 years old, studying to be a personal trainer at the time. And I was so thirsty for knowledge, I was going home every night and researching articles online and watching documentaries, GMO foods, organic, you name it. And it was on Netflix one night, and I stumbled across a documentary called Forks Over Knives. How many of you here have seen it? All right, quite a few. Forks Over Knives is a documentary that highlights the China study, one of the largest comprehensive nutritional studies ever done, and made the correlation between eating animal products and having certain cancers. And what they saw is that people who were eating tons of meat and dairy and eggs were getting these certain types of cancers and other diseases, while the populations that were eating a primarily plant-based diet had lower risk, if not non-existent. And I thought, wow, this information is really compelling. And for the first time in my life, I thought, maybe I should go vegetarian. And that did not come lightly, trust me. You can ask my friends here, I was the guy going out on the weekends and eating 2 dozen of wings with a bucket of blue cheese, making fun of vegetarians and saying, I could never give up my meat. And yet here I was deciding to make this decision, and so I did. I eliminated seafood from my diet, I eliminated meat, but I was still eating the eggs and the dairy. Well, I lasted about 2 weeks. It didn't last long. I came home one night and my mom had made a chicken dish. It was one of my favorites, and I thought, what am I doing? I can't be vegetarian. My mom's here today in the crowd. She's actually vegan now. Love you, Mom. And so I thought, I can't be vegetarian, but something inside of me pushed me to want to try again. I don't know what it was, but I said, I need to keep going. I need to try this again. And so I started doing more research. And I went on Facebook and I started adding myself to these vegetarian and vegan groups. And I still didn't really know what the word vegan was, but I was seeing it. But I went on this vegetarian group and I said, can somebody recommend me a good documentary to watch? And I thought I was going to get something similar to Forks Over Knives, and well, I was in for a surprise. A girl typed back and she said, you should watch the film Earthlings. How many of you have seen Earthlings? Yeah. I wish I could go back and thank that girl because she changed my life forever. Earthlings is a very intense documentary about how we exploit animals for food, for fashion, for entertainment, and for cosmetics. And it contains some of the most haunting and gruesome images that I'd ever seen in my life. I couldn't believe that what I was seeing was not only legal, but standard practice. I was seeing pigs having their tails cut off without anesthetic, baby chicks having their beaks seared off because they lived in conditions so crowded that they would go stir crazy and peck at each other. So the solution, just sear off their beaks at birth. But the most haunting image that stays with me to this day was a mother cow. And she was having her baby being taken away from her because he was considered a waste product in the dairy industry. He would not go on to produce milk, and he was not the right breed to produce meat. So he would be taken away, sanctioned off, raised briefly, slaughtered, and then sold for veal. The mother would go through this cycle again and again, being artificially inseminated, giving birth, having her baby taken away from her, until she was spent 16 years shorter than her natural lifespan. And then she would go on to the slaughterhouse as well. Well, I will never forget the scream that this mother cow let out as her baby was being taken away from her. A scream that a human mother would make if she was in the same situation. And for the first time I thought, I have empathy for these beings, for these animals that I only ever thought of as products. What if that was me in that situation? What if that was a family member? What if that was a friend? What if that was my dog? And I realized something very, very important. A cow is a chicken, is a pig, is a fish, is a dog, is me. We are all beings of this earth. We all suffer in the same way. We all bleed red. We all want a chance to live a happy, healthy, and free life. Just because we speak different languages does not mean that our lives are more important than theirs. Yes, I am biased. In the situation where I might have to save a human over an animal, I would probably pick the human. But in the situation where we intentionally cause suffering to these beings for no necessary purpose other than a mere fleeting moment of pleasure, a 10-minute meal, an hour of entertainment, it then becomes our moral obligation to wake up to what we are doing and save them instead. As children, we are taught to love animals while they are simultaneously being served to us on our plates. And so we grow up as adults to love our cats and our dogs, and we take these other animals and we put them off to the side. But why? Why are they so different? A pig is as smart as a 3-year-old child, and mother chicken sings her babies to sleep at night. A fish can use tools and is known to form friendships with other species. These are highly intelligent, sentient beings deserving of life. And so we must ask ourselves a question. Is unnecessary suffering wrong? And if the answer is yes, we must apply that to all species and strive to live vegan. We can get every essential nutrient that we need on a plant-based diet. It is no longer necessary for us to use animals. And so on November 23rd, 2012, I decided to take that stride. I said not only would I never support these industries again, but I would spend the rest of my life actively trying to stop them. And I remember it was as if a switch had been flipped on, and I saw the world in a completely new and different light. A weight had been lifted off of my shoulders. I felt so connected to the earth. I felt so connected to animals. And I thought, this is it. I just have to tell people. I just have to show them what I have seen, and they will make the same decision. And so I went on a mission to do that. and my message was falling on deaf ears. People were not listening to what I had to say. They did not want to know where their food came from. Why? I became angry. I became resentful. I started thinking I was better than other people because I thought, I'm showing you these things that I saw and I made the switch, and yet you're sitting here and you have no reaction. And so I pushed my friends and my family away, and I went to a very dark and depressive place. And after a year, I thought, I'm not doing justice by these animals. I'm not doing what I set out to do, which was to end these industries. Something had to change. And so then I realized, humans, we are victims as well. We've been brought up and raised to believe one thing when our hearts and our morals say another. The compassion that we had for animals as a child, when all animals were our friends, had been dissolved away by corporations who only cared about their profits, while the truth was locked away behind closed doors. We were brought up to believe that animal products are necessary, normal, and healthy, and that to think otherwise would go against everything that we've ever known. And so I thought, this is way more complex than I realized. And I felt bad. And so I took the empathy that I had for animals and I extended it towards human beings. I started to talk less. I started to listen more. I started to meet people where they were and try to understand. I stopped preaching and I started educating. And something amazing happened. People started listening to my message. They were taking what I had to say, they were applying it to their lives. They were beginning to live happier and healthier. And so I believe that veganism can be used as a tool. And by creating happier individuals, we can add to the global consciousness of this world to make it a more peaceful and kind planet. Peace begins on our plates. And so I have a question that I have to ask for everybody here who is not vegan. If you could live happy and healthy without hurting others, would you? And if the answer is yes, I highly urge you to consider living a vegan lifestyle. To take that compassion that you had as a kid and apply it to your actions that you make today. It is the best thing that you can do for your health, for the environment, and most importantly, the animals. And for everybody here who is a vegan already, I want you to ask a question. How can I become a better advocate for this lifestyle? How can I go forth in a more kind and peaceful and compassionate way and understand people where they are and show them the true values of this lifestyle, which is peace and love and compassion, not bitterness, not anger, not resentment? How can you be a part of the solution and not the problem? See, I believe that we all hold the power to change. Never underestimate the ripple effect that you have in this world. Each interaction is a chance to make a difference. You may only inspire one, but that one may go on to inspire 1 million. What can I do? Said 7 billion people on this earth. Live with kindness, live with compassion, and together we can make this planet a more peaceful place. Live vegan. Thank you.